The NBA returns with two great games, and I've never been happier to have live basketball back in my life. We're going to break down the Lakers and Clippers, basically looking at the last 4 minutes of the game or so when it got close, and try to glean some insights into what might happen in a future playoff series. My name is Coach Pyper. If you enjoy this breakdown, you can follow me on Twitter at HalfCourtHoops. I have a great coaching website, thebasketballplaybook.com, and a newsletter for NBA breakdowns that you can sign up below. Starting off looking at the Clippers possession, down 6 with 3 minutes and 40 seconds left. They run a Ram ghost set, so that is a Ram, which is just a basic pin down screen before a ball screen. Here you can see JaMychal Green setting that screen for Paul George, who's going to ghost or fake this ball screen. This creates a switch with KCP on Kawhi, LeBron on Paul George. Kawhi drives in, and anytime you swipe down, the refs are going to call a foul. The next Lakers possession, we get an elbow touch for LeBron. They try to get a pin down for Anthony Davis. He gets jammed up and gets fouled. Not really too important in the grand scheme of things, except here's the Clippers adjustment. You're going to see Kawhi deny LeBron at the elbow and really sag off Caruso, jamming up this play, although it doesn't really work because Caruso gets downhill and gets fouled. But here we can see Kawhi taking away LeBron at the elbow, almost double teaming LeBron and disrupting the Lakers play. We get a side ball screen between LeBron and Caruso. Reggie Jackson goes under, but this allows Caruso to get downhill and draw the foul. The next Clippers possession, they run the same exact action for Paul George and Kawhi Leonard. This time, the Lakers do a really good job of hedging and recovering. We'll look at that specifically in this example. We're going to see this kind of ghost or fake ball screen. KCP is going to hedge, force Kawhi away from the basket, and now Kawhi has LeBron still on him. Kawhi drives on LeBron, and it's a pretty weak foul call, kind of up in the air, but Kawhi goes to the free throw line and knocks down 2 free throws. After the free throw, the Lakers run their after timeout exit for a post-up or a quick catch-and-shoot 3. You can see it happens so fast, almost hits the ref in this scenario. KCP misses a wide-open corner 3. The Clippers come back down 4, 3 minutes left. Morris brings the ball up. We're going to see Kawhi is going to get cross-matched here. Cross-match meaning basically in transition, a different defender or a less than ideal defender would be on him. The Clippers do a good job driving and kicking. LeBron does a good job helping and then recovering. So here we look at this example again. We can see Kawhi posting up here on KCP. Little cross-match action. Kawhi attacks baseline here. Does a good job reading where the help's coming from. Kicks to Reggie Jackson. Jackson pump fakes, attacks, does a good job drawing LeBron. And LeBron makes actually a pretty good play here. A little bit of the body, but still gets the block on JaMychal Green for the reverse layup. Lakers still up 4, 2 minutes and 30 seconds left. Lakers go 5 out here with Anthony Davis at the 5. He backdoor cuts, ends up getting a foul called. So you can see he's going to kind of fake this spread ball screen, change speed, and backdoor cut. Too physical there, end up getting called for a foul. 99-93. Now the Clippers are going to start hunting who they basically perceive as the weakest defender on the court. In this scenario, it's Alex Caruso. It'll also end up being Kyle Kuzma. What happens here is they have Reggie Jackson come up and set this ball screen, right? Trying to get Caruso in this switch. Well, the switch is a little bit too high. Kawhi really isn't attacking off of it, not forcing the issue. Here, he turns a corner but doesn't get downhill. Kicks to Paul George. Paul George drives, and I'm not sure why Anthony Davis, one of the best shot blockers, is trying to step in and take a charge. I'd prefer him to contest that there. Lakers go back to their elbow pin down action for Anthony Davis. This time he makes a great read, fades it, but ends up stepping out of bounds as he looks to attack the closeout and drive baseline. Clippers possession here, they try to get Kyle Kuzma in a pick and roll. He ends up getting switched onto Kawhi. Does a great job staying in front and possibly contesting or tipping that. Paul George ends up hitting kind of a scramble 3 here. Here we can see they attack Kuzma. Kawhi is going to try and get downhill, and it's hard to tell here what actually happens. It looks like Kawhi does maybe lose control of the ball and finds Paul George. No call. George hits the crazy 3. Lakers come back down. Now they're going to go a little Anthony Davis, LeBron James pick and roll. They get JaMychal Green switched out on LeBron. There's a couple of key things on this play that I really want to focus on in the replay. After LeBron drives for the easy layup, we'll look at why that happened. So here we can see that switch on this side pick and roll. LeBron notices that. He's going to send AD to the corner after he gets JaMychal Green switched on him, kind of clear some space. Caruso makes a really great basket cut and kind of cuts into the dunker spot. This creates a little bit of confusion on who's helping in the basket. This leaves Landry Shamet here to contest LeBron at the rim, and that's just going to end up in an easy basket every time for LeBron. So Lakers up 3, a minute 20 left. Clippers here are going to, again, try to hunt some switches. They're going to put Landry Shamet in a pick and roll with Caruso. Caruso actually does a pretty good job of hedging and recovering, and this possession here by Caruso is just awesome. Shows some of his defensive prowess. You're going to see him get a tip steal and then save it inbounds to keep the possession for the Lakers. So here's that replay. Great job of hedging. You can see that Kawhi is forced to retreat and go back towards half court on this drive. A great stunt by Caruso. Kawhi picks up his dribble. A driving kick scenario. Great off-ball switch by Kuzma and Caruso with the tip and overall steal. Now Lakers come back down, up 3, a minute left. They're going to run a 21 action, or basically kind of like the D'Antoni 21 series with the guard. Set a ball screen for AD. He ends up rejecting it and trying to attack middle. A no call here, so you can see this 21 action, trying to get basically a guard. But in that case, it's Paul George, so it didn't make too much sense to me. Little scramble. And the Lakers are going to call timeout here. Now, when they call timeout, they run this after timeout technically, but they've run this action before, so I'm not out of bounds, where it's just a handoff into a ball screen. We can't see the beginning of it. It's probably a zipper cut, but a handoff into a ball screen for LeBron. LeBron recognizes Kawhi helping on AD, fires a great pass to Danny Green, who ends up just missing it. And of course, we have that long replay that gives the ball to the Clippers. Now in this scenario, it's basically an after timeout because the Clippers got a timeout. Paul George comes off a pin down, ends up hitting a pretty tough 3, but I love this action, how they fake the ball screen and then sprint into this pin down. A little bit too high. Lakers do a good job of jamming it up. Paul George hits a pretty tough 3 here on Danny Green to tie the game. LeBron comes back down. They try to get a Danny Green ball screen to get Reggie Jackson in the ball screen. LeBron gets his own rebound and finishes the play. Watch the Lakers here. They're going to set this screen, but the Clippers do a good job of pre-switching or sending Morris into the ball screen defense. LeBron throws up a tough shot, ends up getting his own offensive rebound. That just can't happen if you're the Clippers. Now let's talk about the very last play of the game, and specifically we need to talk about LeBron's defense. The Clippers run the same exact action. Instead of a pin down for Paul George, it's almost like that Ram screen we looked at. LeBron does a great job of jamming up Kawhi and then switching out on a Paul George. Let's look at that in exact detail. So here we can see they run that same action with a fake ball screen into a wide pin down for Paul George. Paul George comes up onto like the fake ball screen. Lakers do a good job jamming it up. Kawhi drives inside. Now LeBron doesn't bite on this pump fake, stays down, forces Kawhi to give the ball up, switches out onto Paul George, forces him to go back towards half court. Paul George throws up a crazy shot and ends up just missing. Great win by the Lakers and a great first night of basketball. If you enjoy this breakdown, please feel free to like and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter at HalfCourtHoops. I look forward to doing more.